Service is really part of our mission. One of the things we try to do is empower our representatives to be able to handle any experience or any situation that comes their way. That goes down to every employee. We want to make sure that we're hiring the right people that fit into that culture. And when you hire the right people and get the right people into the right positions, that's where success comes.
Welcome to the Press One for Nick podcast. My name is Nick Limsdale. My guest this week is Michael Tingey. He is the Senior Manager of Customer and Consumer Relations at Ping. And we're going to get into it, all sorts of questions. I'm super excited because not only am I not a great golfer, but I think there is a lot of analogies that we can play into the journey of the game and the mindset of the game. And how do you interact when something doesn't go as planned, like it did for me on Wednesday. But, Michael, welcome to the Press One for Nick podcast. I'm looking forward to digging in.
Thanks, Nick. Grateful to be here today.
So, at the beginning, I kind of touched on Ping, and obviously you've been there for a bit, and you do focus on that customer and consumer relations, and you've spent time in customer service, and you've spent time on the fitting side as well. Maybe share a little bit about your personal journey and experiences that led you to that role that you're in today.
Yeah. So I've been in the golf industry for 10 years now, and I actually started when I was in college. I worked as a sales associate at Uinta Golf in Orem, Utah. So I sold golf clubs throughout college while I was earning my degree there. And I loved my job. I loved I loved my coworkers. I loved selling golf clubs. I loved playing golf. And it was just a great experience for me. And then my senior year, I started, interviewing for jobs, and I had some offers in various industries. I realized, I love the golf industry, and maybe I can make a career out of this. So Ping was always one of my favorite brands, and luckily enough, I had an opportunity to interview and was hired at Ping as a customer service representative and a club fitting specialist. So I started my journey in customer service, and I loved that role as well. I got to interact with our Ping accounts. I got to travel the country doing club fittings, custom club fittings for people, and I really loved all the people I met, the opportunity to give them a great experience and help them find the best fit for them, and learned a lot in that role. And then had an opportunity to get into management, and I managed the club fitting department and the customer service group before getting into my current role as a senior manager of consumer relations. So had a few different roles in my journey, and they've all kind of helped me get to where I am today.
So what I appreciate is that the fact that you started where you did. You didn't just come in to Ping as a senior manager or even a manager or somewhere that didn't have that direct focus on that consumer. And you had the ability to be hands-on, literally, in personalizing that experience for them. So what did you learn from that first job, and what have you brought with you to the role you're in today?
Yeah, I learned a few different things. I think, number one, working throughout my time in college, I learned the importance of balancing my workload and prioritizing the tasks that I have. Working full-time and going to school, I had to juggle a lot of things and make sacrifices, but looking back on that experience, I wouldn't trade it for anything. In my current roles today, the things I've learned most are putting in your best effort in every role that you are in. And I think, people notice when you're giving your best effort, whether it's as a customer service representative or a sales associate, whatever it is, you have an opportunity to make a difference with every interaction that you have. And so giving your best effort and coming to work and working hard every day, it pays off.
So how do you instill that into the people that you work with and lead? Is as you were working through that process and giving it your best effort, it's sometimes people don't do that. And so it's something that can be taught, though. It's not something that you just have this natural talent and this amazing swing. You actually have the ability to focus on something that is a controllable, which is best effort. So how do you go about that, communicating that to your team?
Yeah, I think as a leader, it's important to set the example, and being I've always tried to be a servant leader to be able to help other people, and I try and show my best example, but helping and coaching and helping them when maybe they're not having as good of an experience, I can try and be there for them. Um, golf is an interesting game. Like you said, it can be frustrating, it can be rewarding, and that's the same in the service industry. Sometimes you're going to have great experiences, and sometimes you're not. Sometimes there's hard experiences, but we can learn from each of those experiences and grow from them, and then provide even better experiences in the future.
Yeah. I do want to dig in a little bit further into the customer service side. But before we do, maybe share with my listeners a little bit more about the rich history of Ping and the story and kind of the evolution of how it started and where it is today.
Yeah, the Ping has quite the unique story, and it all started back really in the 1950s. Karsten Solheim is our founder, and he actually, he's an immigrant from Norway, and he didn't pick up a golf club till he was in his 40s. He was an engineer by trade and hardworking man, and provided for his family. When he was in his 40s, he was working for GE at the time, and he went golfing with some of his friends. He realized there wasn't a whole lot of technology in golf at that time, and he felt like he could make it better. And so it started with the putter. He made his own design, and he added more perimeter weighting to the putter. He added some sound slots in there as well, and he made this prototype putter that provided, it was a better putter than what the technology was at that time. That putter, called the 1A, he's an engineer, and so he called it the 1A bottle. It made a loud ping sound when you hit the ball, and that's where our name came from. So it all started from there. He continued to tinker with different things, try different things, and eventually he and his wife Louise, they realized we could make this a full-time opportunity. We could sell golf clubs full time, and so they did that. They bought a small building in Phoenix, Arizona, and they started building golf clubs full time. One of the other landmark things that happened in 1966, they developed the answer putter, and that putter is still one of the most iconic putter styles that's used to this day. Um, Again, Louise had a very influential role in the company history as well. When Karsten said, "I need to name this putter," she said, "Well, you're always calling it the answer to people's putting problems, so why don't you call it the answer?" And that's how we got the name of that putter today. Karsten was he was a pioneer in a lot of things. He pioneered investment casting in the golf club industry, the club fitting process, custom fitting. He designed our color code system. You have the Solheim Cup that was just happened recently. It's the preeminent team golf competition in ladies golf, and it's a spectacular event, and so much more. Today I would say, Ping is still headquartered. Their global headquarters is in Phoenix, Arizona. And we've now expanded from that single building that Karsten and Louise originally purchased. We now pretty much own most of that city block. It's a large campus. We've got a driving range here that we do all of our analysis and testing at. We do club fittings here. We have all of our club assembly areas where we assemble golf clubs, and bag assembly, and really everything else. It's quite the campus. So last thing I'll say about Ping, we are third generation family owned, so it's still a family owned company. Karsten, his son John A. Solheim, he took over as president and CEO, and now today we have his grandson John K. Solheim. He's our current president and CEO, and that makes for a special place as well. Employees are treated like family, and that goes a long way. It creates a special culture here on campus, and I'm grateful to be here and be a part of such an amazing company.
So I do love the rich history, and I do believe that how you treat your employees is a direct reflection of how your employees will treat your customers. And Ping has also been known, or always been known, for that best customer service in that golf industry. So what's your guys' approach, or maybe any insights on how you go about delivering that exceptional service and experience to golfers around the world?
Yeah, that's I would say it starts with our mission statement. Our mission statement is to be the unquestioned leader in design, quality, innovation, and service. Service is really part of our mission. And one of the things we try to do is empower our representatives to be able to handle any experience or any situation that comes their way. And so whether it's, if there's a club that needs to be replaced or taken care of, repaired, we want our agents to feel like they're empowered, that they can do it. And, we provide the regular coaching and training necessary to make sure that we are, again, providing those experiences. We have a lot of different ways that we interact with customers, whether it's phone calls or emails, web chat. There's also in-person, fitting experiences, campus tours. We provide tours of our campus here in Phoenix, and it's a great experience. Um, each of those provide a unique opportunity to interact with someone and potentially create Ping Fan for life. And that's our goal: is to have every interaction, be a memorable experiences that will create Ping Fan for life.
So the importance of creating that memorable experience is what I always like to say is you want to have that experience, regardless if it's somebody at a fitting club or at a fitting, if it's at the Phoenix location or any other location that you guys are partnering with. You want to be that conversation for the right reason at the dinner table. And the better conversations that you guys are going to have, the more likely that they're going to tell more people about you and refer more people to you for that reason. If you can win a customer once, it's easier than ever to go to that next golf club or that next insurance company or whatever that product or service is. And so it's so important to consistently create that best experience over the time that they're in the sport, and maybe even when they're not in the sport, because they're still maybe a thought leader in the space, or maybe they're now grandparents and they have the ability to tell their grandkids, this is the club, or this is the set that I've always used and I've always grown with Ping. How much do you guys focus on maybe the personas and going through the journey in the lifetime of that consumer?
Yeah, that's a great question. And word of mouth marketing is such a huge part of our industry, building relationships and allowing people to share those experiences. You remind me, just the other week we had a family came in, they took a tour of our facility, and a couple weeks later they sent us an email and they said, you gave us a tour a couple weeks ago. We had an incredible experience. We loved learning about the history of Ping. He said, because of that experience, I've now shared the story with all of my golfing buddies, my family. I've shared the pictures. And I even went and got custom fit for a set of I-230 irons and a hybrid. And really, I mean, isn't that what it's all about in whether it's whatever business you're in, giving people those experiences, allowing them to, share that with others, and building business, allowing them to, purchase your product. That's what it's all about.
That's such a cool story. We did not set that up. That was no softball getting ready to swing. I didn't even prep them for the question. So, well played. You know, when it comes to equipment, when it comes to playing golf or really any other sport, you want to make sure you have the right fit. Because if you can have the right fit, then you don't really have a whole lot of excuses. Everybody's got excuses for the golf game, including myself at the very beginning of this conversation. But fitting is a crucial aspect of finding the right clubs for a golfer's swing. And you can have generic clubs, and you can say, hey, here's a bundle that you can buy off the shelf, or here's a customized based off of the size, the speed swing, the flex, whatever those are. I'm no fitting expert as you are, but walk us through that process of fitting at Ping and the key factors that you consider, such as like interviewing and tendencies, handicaps, current club limitations, ball flight, like etc. What does that journey look like?
Yeah, fitting it's an essential part of the game, and we strongly recommend that every golfer get custom fit for their clubs. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced player, making sure that you have the right fit for you is going to allow you to shoot better scores. And so, Ping we have a robust fitting system. We put a lot of work into it, and make sure that, again, we're providing the great experience, but also providing the best fit product for every consumer that plays Ping. When we do a custom fitting, it always starts with an interview and really getting to know the person, understanding what their goals are. What are they looking for when they get custom fit? Are they looking for more yardage? Are they looking for a tighter dispersion? Maybe less, they don't want to hit a slice anymore, and there's things that we can help with that. But finding out what their goals are is an important part. Finding out what their handicap, their current clubs that they're playing with, or do they have any physical limitations? All of those things factor in and help our fitters know, what can I do to best help them during this experience? Every swing is unique, every person is unique, and we have to create tailored individual experiences for every person that comes to get custom fit. In that interview, I think two of the most important things, we try to ask good questions, but being able to listen as well is a critical part. Listening to the individual and then being able to make decisions based off that, and really letting the fitting, guide itself, and being able to not have a predetermined place where you're going, but being able to get the right clubs into the person's hand and find that best fit for them. Throughout the fitting, then we're trying different shafts, different grips. We're going from this far apart. We're getting closer and closer till we find the best fit for that person.
It's such a unique experience too, because before our conversation, before we've ever chatted, I never thought it was the important parts of that fitting process. I was thinking more of stance and swing and everything else, but the importance of actually asking really good questions and then just listening and then adapting from there. It's if you're in every journey of a consumer, you could either be the person that's selling that product. You could either be the guide or you could be the hero. And you want that consumer to be the hero of the story. You don't want them to be the opposite, because then they feel like they're being sold to and upsold and cross-sold, right? Like, you want them to actually do what's best for the customer or the consumer. And you do that by listening and then asking really, really good questions, and then potentially follow-up questions, or maybe there are questions that are not being, or things that are not being said, and how do you address those? Or like Chris Voss always says, how do you label those? It sounds like you're really frustrated about your slice. It sounds like you want to knock a few strokes off your game. It sounds like you want to be your buddy who's been beating you for the last 15 years. Tell me more about that. And so just asking really good questions tend to have really good conversations and then very good outcomes. So I really appreciate about that. One of the things that you guys just recently, I don't know when you rolled it out, but you have an online web fitting as well. So it's not just a physical location where you are fitting at, but you can go to an authorized fitting dealer. How do those, I'm kind of puzzled a little bit, but how do those two approach complement each other? And then maybe what are the advantages of each one?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have our online web fit tool, and over the past decades that we've done club fittings, we've gathered a lot of data. We've been able to learn from all of the fitting experiences, all of the different swings, the tendencies, and our fitting science team has been able to develop an algorithm that allows us to get a pretty accurate fitting based off of the input that you put in. So all how far do you hit certain clubs? You'll put in a bunch of those metrics, and it's going to get you a very accurate fitting. We also do recommend very much being able to go in and get custom fit, try the clubs. I mean, that's the initial approach. We're going to get your static measurements. We're going to be able to tell you what length you need, a recommended color code for the lie angle, those various measurements. But trying out the clubs, being able to see the ball flight, that's an essential part as well. And so we do recommend also visiting an authorized Ping retailer, getting that in-person experience to try the clubs and make sure that it is the right fit for you.
So when it comes to technology, when it comes to golf specifically in that technology, as a consumer, you can be overwhelmed by options. And it's tough because this is the next greatest thing and nothing's ever been better than this. The one thing I really appreciated based off of our previous conversation was, we only make releases when the actual product is better. And what an anomaly that is. It shouldn't be, but it is. So can you share some insights maybe into the role of that technology in both the club design and the fitting of that technology at Ping?
Yeah, our engineers are exceptional. Again, going back to the mission statement, we want to be the unquestioned leader in design, innovation, quality, and service. And so, three of those: design, innovation, and quality. We want to make sure that our products are great, they're the best. And I know I'm biased, but we make incredible golf clubs. And yeah, we release products once we're able to maybe beat the predecessor, beat the previous model. And that goes across our whole line. We make products. I mean, we make clubs for ladies. We have clubs for women. We have our junior products, our Prodigy line. We've got right-handed and left-handed. It's a full suite of products, and it's pretty impressive to see how our products stack up. But then also when you marry that with the service and that side of it, that creates a very powerful part.
So I touched on a little bit around that service and how you guys are a differentiator in the golf industry. What pulls you guys away from the competition, maybe in terms of that service mindset? And I know it's obviously in your guys' mission statement, but is there any specific examples that you could maybe highlight to show the difference between the two or between you and others?
Yeah, I think going back to being a third generation family owned company, that definitely, I mentioned earlier, but there's a special culture here at Ping, and that goes down to every employee. We want to make sure that we're hiring the right people that fit into that culture. And when you hire the right people and get the right people into the right positions, that's where success comes. And we've seen that in our service side, being able to have the right people in customer service and club fitting, repair, all these different groups that are consistently working with people. That plays an important part. When people are treated like, people are employees, they're not numbers here at Ping, and it makes them want to work harder and play an important role in the Ping story. One of the things that I've always been impressed with here at Ping is, we try and set up career progression opportunities and give people an opportunity to grow, give people an opportunity to learn new skills and try new things. The average tenure here at Ping is over 14 years, and people tend to stay here for a long time. And it's pretty remarkable in this day and age what that entails. But ultimately, going back to if we listen to our employees and if we listen to the ideas they have, we're going to be able to find some successful new ideas and new ways to try different things, and that's how you are an innovative company.
So you said a couple of things that I kind of want to dig into. Two things is the average tenure is 14 years. It's not 14 months. It's not 4 years. It's 14 years. And what was the total employee count today?
Over here at Ping headquarters, there's about over 800 employees. Globally, there's about 1,300 employees.
So 1,300 employees with a tenure of 14 years. What can you teach the people who are struggling, not just in customer service, which there is that it's hard to hire, it's hard to retain, and the people, because what you touched on was the why, right? You touched on the mission, you touched on that they are focused on the consumer, and they have a trajectory of growth within that. There's a lot of customer service reps, for that matter, that somebody's going to come over to them and say, hey, I'll give you an extra 25 cents or an extra dollar per hour. But they'll go to that next role and they won't actually believe in the mission. They won't believe in the product or service. They won't be surrounded by the teammates that believe in them or have that upward trajectory where they want to go. So outside of what we just talked about, what advice or what can you provide the people that are either in customer service or just in general around that tenure? Because that is so impressive, and it's not heard of in any industry.
It is pretty remarkable. And when you walk around Ping campus, we have these bulletin boards around campus where we hang up people's pictures and celebrate how long they've been here at Ping. And it's not uncommon to see people who've been here 30, 35, 40 years throughout the campus. So you're right, it is a remarkable thing. And it's one of the things that I was most impressed with when I first started here at Ping. But again, going back to why people choose to stay, and I think a lot of it is we empower them to make decisions, and we empower employees to provide those great experiences, to have those hero moments when they're able to provide a great experience to someone. We listen to our employees. We do our best to meet regularly with them in an individual setting and in a group setting. But ultimately, I think being able to provide career progression opportunities. We hire from within. We do our best to hire from within and promote people internally. And so, some of our customer service reps, our fitting specialists, have gone on to become other positions at Ping. And it's a special place when you've got people that are growing internally and able to make a difference throughout the company for a long period of time.
That's neat. So you also touched about, and you mentioned it again on that answer, was actually listening to your employees. And in customer service or customer experience, everybody has the metrics, the NPS, the customer effort, the CSAT, the fill in the blank. So you have these listening posts that you get to kind of pay attention to, and hopefully you're reviewing it and then you act on that data. And hopefully you're asking those why questions as well. Like what makes you give me a 1 out of 5? Like I want to learn through that process as well. But what are the listening posts that you guys have, or the opportunities that you have to listen to your employees?
Yeah, we try and at least in my departments, we try and set up regular one-on-one meetings between a manager and an employee. It's partly a performance review, see how they're doing, see what type of feedback we can give to them, coaching opportunities. But then a big part of that too is, what have they seen? What are they observing as they're listening to accounts and consumers that are calling in or emailing in, or as they're out doing fittings? What are some things that they are seeing out in the field that maybe we can improve internally? Maybe it's something that we can work on as a team to improve. And I think as we listen to our employees, that's how we're going to gain those insights. Because as a manager, I don't always know the right answer. I do my best, but sometimes you have to put a stake in the ground, and sometimes that's the right place to put it. And other times you analyze again, you redo it, and you try again. You put the stake in another area. So being able to, I guess, be humble enough to accept that you're not always going to be right. You don't know everything, and there's a lot of smart people around you that can help with that. And I guess that's the approach I've tried to take, is learn from others, have mentors that are willing to provide that coaching to you. And then hopefully I can share that to others as well, the people in my departments, I can be a mentor to them as well.
Yeah, I think that's such sound advice, though, that you don't know the answers, and at the right time, you humble yourself when you don't know the answers, or same thing you would do with your consumers. If something doesn't go as planned, you communicate effectively and say, hey, this is what we didn't meet expectations, and here's what we're going to do about it, and here's what we're going to do about it moving forward, and we're going to put this place or standing operating procedures or whatever that is. But you have to humble yourself before you can do that, and sometimes that's hard for human beings in general to just stop back and reflect and say, you know what, I screwed up and it's on me, and here's what we're going to do about it, but here's what we're going to learn, hopefully, moving forward. So this has been awesome. I've enjoyed this conversation. What's the best way for people to either get a hold of you, connect with you, or if they want to learn more about Ping, they want to take a tour, they want to go get a fitting because they're trying to do all those use cases that I mentioned earlier and beat their buddy? How do they go about connecting with all of those?
Yeah, Nick, probably the best way is if you visit ping.com, our Ping website, there's a link where you can book a campus tour. If you're ever in the Phoenix area and want to take a tour, we'd love to have you out here. You can see again how clubs are made. You can see our Ping proving grounds where the tour players get fit, where we do all of our analysis and testing. It's a really cool experience. It's a complimentary campus tour. If you want to get custom fit, again, go to our website. We have a get fit page find a fitter page where you can find a fitter in your local area. Or if you're in Phoenix, we do have a fitting center here that we'd love to have you visit.
That's great. I have never been to Phoenix, or haven't been to Phoenix in a while, and plan to take that tour when I make it back. Hopefully it's sometime in the winter where it's nice and cozy. But Michael, it's been a pleasure, man, and best of luck to you.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate it.